Hey, Miles here, milesbeckler.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a split test on your WordPress-based sales funnel. So if you're doing the DIY sales funnel thing, I totally commend you, and this video is going to show you how to use analytics, Google's analytics platform, to run and manage your split tests. Now, in this example, I'm using Thrive Themes, and I'm going to show you exactly where to put the code and exactly how to set this up in Thrive Themes on WordPress. If you're using a different theme, there's going to be a very similar process. You just need to figure out where to put this tracking code inside of your theme. So all the steps apply, just that little tiny detail of where to put the code kind of is going to be a little bit different if you're on a different theme. I recommend Thrive Themes. That's why I'm showing you how to run a split test on Thrive Themes. Now, real quick, why split testing? Split testing is really the only way for you to kind of statistically and scientifically improve the conversion rate on your website. What we're going to go through here together is I'm going to set up split test for my opt-in page, but this is the exact same process you will want to do for your sales pages, for potentially your upsell pages, etc. I'm going to show you how to do it once. You will simply replicate this process for your sales pages and for any other kind of aspects of your website, like if you have webinar registration pages, whatever those may be. Anytime you want to improve conversions, we do this through split testing. The first step is to measure. That's what analytics does. The second step is to test. Generally speaking, it's going to be a headline is where your most effective test is going to be. Then we measure the results and we let the science and the data tell us whether or not the new one or the old one converts more users into leads or more leads into customers, etc., etc. So with that said, let's just jump in and get started. You can see I've got a few things open here. So what I've got open is my dashboard for my main website. I've got the two pages that are the important steps in my funnel. This is going to be my landing page, which is the opt-in page. We're going to set the split test up on this page, and this is the thank you page. This is the page that they go to once they successfully opt in and become a lead. So this is going to be essentially more people who reach this page. That's the identifier of a conversion, is people who reach this page. And then I've got analytics. So let's jump right in. We're going to go into analytics. I already have an analytics account running. You probably do too. If not, just go to analytics.google.com and sign up for an account. If you already have an account running, you come down here to admin and click admin. Then on the drop down, you'll want to just create a new account. And it just wants to know. So I'm going to enter this information really quickly. Perfect. So what I've done is I've kind of initiated the process and I clicked Get Tracking ID. I need to obviously accept their terms of service, and you're going to see right here it gives us this page where we have this website tracking code. Now I recommend you get this code inside of your website, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. There are plugins in WordPress that allow you to simply take your tracking ID. This UA number is essentially your unique number, or that one's mine. You will have your own unique number, but really it's kind of embedded in here. You can see it in here, and we're just going to take this script here. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it on a notepad. Now I'm going to go over to the dashboard and I need to go ahead and disable the WordFence plugin. If you're following along with the DIY sales funnel series, we got WordFence kind of added, and the goal of WordFence is to protect your website from any sort of malicious attacks, and one of those is what's called a code injection or an SQL injection. So WordFence by default is very protective of new code being added to your site, which is why we disable it when we add code. If you went through the Facebook version of this process, you are already comfortable with that. So hover over Thrive dashboard, next go to theme options, and this is where we physically go add the script, which is the analytics code. So you can see here we want it to go in the header script. I'm going to scroll down below the Facebook code that we added before, and I'm going to add that snippet right below, and here I click Save All Changes. And this adds the Google Analytics tracking code to every blog post, to every core page, and to all of my apprentice pages that are built with the standard kind of WordPress post and page or the apprentice lesson page system. Now, this doesn't work for my funnel pages, which we've built on Thrive Themes Content Builder plugin. So both of these pages are created in that manner. So I need to manually add the code here. So I'm going to load this. I'm going to click Edit with Thrive Content Builder. It's going to load kind of the editor. I'm going to come over here on the right side, click the landing pages, go to landing page settings, and then down here to set up custom scripts. And this top one where it says header scripts before the head end tag, I simply paste it right below my Facebook code. If you don't have Facebook code in there, I recommend watching the previous video. So save that there and then save it here. And we're added. So I want to go add that here to the thank you page that they received. This is actually my one-click upsell page, which is what they see after they opt in. So this is essentially the goal accomplishment for a lead, right? When somebody reaches this page, that means they became a lead. Same process here. We click on the landing page settings, set up custom scripts, and right below the Facebook code, we paste it all in. I click save on that box. I click save here. And we're done. So now at this point, obviously I have a few more pages in my funnel. I would go add it to all of them for the sake of being kind of brief and showing you just how to do this here. That's enough for us to get our split test running. But again, just what I'm trying to get at is add that to every single page in your funnel if they are built with the Content Builder plugin. So now what is the next step? We want to go inside of analytics. I want to go ahead and I believe I got an OK. I don't even have an OK. So I just want to go inside of the site here. I'm going to click there, click here, and it's going to actually take me, oops, I think it's actually, let's open this up here, audience overview. So it's going to tell me there's nobody on my site because I just installed my tracking code, and that is totally normal. We want to come down here to conversions and goals. And what we're going to do is the next thing we need to do in this process is set up an actual conversion goal. And so let's go to goal URLs, set up goals, and we're going to choose new goal. And this new goal we want to do is going to be really simple. It's going to be based on an actual page that they reach. So I'm going to come down here to custom, and I'm going to click continue. And the name of this goal is DIY sales funnel opt-in new lead. Cool. So I got that set up, and I'm going to use a destination-based goal, which means we're going to base it off of people reaching that thank you page. I click continue here, and now it wants to know the specifics of the page they reach. And you can see right down here it says just use the actual kind of like the slug of the page. You don't need to put the whole URL in here. So I'm going to come over here. This is, let's go view the page just so you can see how this works. So we click preview. And we don't want this question mark. Anything after the preview true, you want to remove. So we actually want the URL itself that a visitor would have. The question mark after it, this question mark TVE equals true. This is saying, essentially, this says use the DIY Sales Funnels Content Builder plugin, which we want to grab just the core URL at this point. So I'm going to grab this /thank you URL, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it, right in there. And I'm going to click save. And that goal is now set up. You can create, I believe, 10 goals or 20 goals, right? So you have 19 goals left. So if you want to have a add to cart goal, you can. If you want to have a purchase the first item goal, if you have a purchase the OTO goal, etc., webinar registration goals. But just remember that as you're building these out, you only have 19 of them. And generally speaking, I would mirror these goals with the kind of custom conversions that you set up in Facebook in the previous video. That way you have a Google version of that goal and a Facebook version of that goal, all based on the same items. So we have our goal set up now. If you want to verify the goal, you can, but the verification isn't going to show any data because of the fact that there's really no traffic on the site. It might actually. So let's click verify the goal because I did load that page. So data is currently unavailable. And that's one thing that's going to be a challenge on this video is I'm not going to have the data to show you, but you just trust that this is exactly how to set this all up, and we will kind of get you going, and you'll see the data come through once you start driving traffic. So the past 7-day conversion mark is at 0 because I don't have any. If you've been running traffic, it will show you what your what you've generated over the past 7 days if you've had analytics installed, right? So it's because I just installed analytics that we don't have anything here. So now I've got the goal set up at this point, and what I need to do at this point is go in and actually duplicate out this page here, but I also need to get my experiment set up here in analytics. So first thing I want to do is set up my experiment here in analytics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pull this out here, and the experiments, are run through this behavior tab. And down at the bottom you can see experiments. So just the main behavior tab, there is another behavior tab in there, and then I believe behavior is also under like acquisition or something. So just make sure it's the one that has the icon behavior and it's got the sub options, and then experiments. Now, you're gonna notice, this is hilarious, right? So as I'm teaching you how to use this system, Google is working on rolling out a new system. Now, I'm not on this new system yet. At some point I will be, and when I migrate over to the new system, I'll update you with a video, but I know how Google operates, and when they say something's going to be depreciated in the future, which means the experiments are going to be going away, essentially what they're saying is in 6 months to a year they're going to disappear. I want you to take action right away, and again, I'm running these experiments as we speak. So I'm confident this is still going to work. Create experiment is what we'll hit. When I update this, you'll be able to see in the description of this video, there's a new one here. But I'm going to call this my opt-in split test. You can see it auto-populated some of my other ones that I've been running. So the objective for this experiment, I'm going to use a drop-down and goal set 1, and I'm choosing the goal, right? So now my experiment is based on how many people reach this goal. I'm going to run 100% of the traffic through this goal, and I'm clicking next step now, and it's going to take me in, and it wants to know what's the original page that we're going to experiment on, and that's this page here, which is just my home page. For you, it might not be your home page, right? It could be a different page. It could be like /free or whatever your opt-in is at. That's fine. It doesn't really matter, but I want to go ahead and just put in whatever the original one is, and you can see it pulls that up. So now that we need our second variant, let's go ahead and go into duplicate out that page, which Thrive Themes makes super simple. So I'm coming in here to my dashboard, and I click pages, and then I'm going to go down and find this page that I'm using, which is right here. Where? Oh, I passed it, didn't I? One quick sec. Let me find that. It's right here in the middle. So it says front page, free DIY sales funnel. So this is the page that is my original. I can click this clone button here, and it's going to clone out this front page. And it takes just a quick second. And now what I want to do is, so I've perfectly cloned this page, but I don't like the fact that it's got the title. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the clone from the title, and I'm going to remove that here. And then I'm going to edit this just to say free. And you could do anything that you want, right? It really doesn't matter all that much. And I'm going to save this now and click the publish button down here. So the reason why I just changed the title and the URL and clicked save is because if I go into the landing page builder and out, it won't save those. So save these two first. Now we go into the content builder, and you're going to see it looks exactly like the original one, and this is how we work a split test. In a split test, you only want to test one thing at a time. So I will only test either new text here, a new image here, or a different button here. One item at a time. And the reason is, if you change something here, change the picture, change the button, and you get an increase in your conversions, you don't actually know if it was this text, the image, or the button. So we run one test at a time to make sure that our test is scientific. I want to take a quick look. I believe it got all of my code, my tracking code sent over. So I'm just going to take a quick double check to make sure, since you're there, quality assurance, and you can see create UA with that 999. This is my Facebook, or excuse me, my Google code, and you can see my Facebook code in there. So it did duplicate and clone out all my tracking code. Perfect. Give me one quick second while I come up with a new headline. 99% of the time, you're going to be testing your headlines, because that's really the most impactful part of a landing page. So let me go ahead and get a quick split test set up, and then we'll finish the process of tying this in through our experiment. And that's it. So really simple. And obviously I'm keeping this super simple, but you want to, there's a theory, there's a more than a theory, there's an art almost to running split tests, right? We want to test something that is proven by other marketers, that has a high likelihood of working. You really want to put a lot of time into the headlines that you use. It's super important to learn how to write great headlines, write great advertisements. A good book about this is How to Write a Good Advertisement by Victor Schwab. So I just kind of like pulled that out of thin air. I recommend you put more time and energy into it. Again, this is all for just like brevity's sake here. I'm just trying to be quick, and I don't want you to think that, oh, you just kind of type up something different. You can, but the more thought you put into it, the higher likelihood it has to work. So now that I have my second page, you can see that I have this second URL, which is /free, right? So I'm going to go visit that new page, and you're going to see it looks the exact same. It functions the exact same. My click pop is the exact same. So now I want to take this URL, and I grab this here, copy it, and I go back into my experiment, and that's the one here. And I'm going to name this one free, and I'm going to name this one homepage. So I can just clearly see in the report which is which. And you can see it pulls up the two different ones, so I can see what my split test is. Perfect, I'm happy with it. I click next step. And now it wants me to just manually insert the code. So it's really easy to do. I'm going to click manually insert the code. And what it allows me to do is, what it tells me to do is that I want to put, first of all, I need to make sure that my original and variant pages have the Google Analytics code installed. We already did that. So this code here is only to go after the opening head tag at the top of my original page, right? So I'm going to copy this here. I want to go to the original page, which is my home page, not this one. This one, right? So you can see this is my home page. This is set up as my original. I go into the Thrive landing pages. I'm going to go into the landing page settings, right back to that same custom scripts area. And it wants it at the beginning of the head code. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to hit enter once and paste it at the very beginning at the top of the head as high up as I can. And I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to click save here. And at this point, my friend, we have a split test up and running. So it gives us the information here. And I'm just going to click next step to go all the way through this here. It's going to give me some options on how long I want to run it, essentially. And you can see it gives me the 2 check marks, homepage, experiment code found, great, and free. The analytics code is found, so it has what it needs. I click start experiment, and it's launched. So what it's going to do is it's going to be collecting the data based on it. And this is kind of where you're able to look at the data, essentially. So how do you get here? It's, again, behavior experiments brings up this list. So when you log in to your analytics account, you're going to see this page, which is the audience overview, and then you want to scroll down here and you're going to go to behavior and you're going to go to experiments, and you can see the experiment name that you just created, and obviously your sales page one would be here, your OTO page would be below that. Click on this here, and what it's going to do is this is going to turn out to be a squiggly line graph right there, and it's going to tell you the number of experiment sessions and the number of hours of data and how many users are included. Let me go load one really quickly that has some data in it so you can see what it's going to look like. All right, so here you can see that I've got one of my experiments running, and you can see what it looks like with data running through the experiment in, again, behavior of the experiments area. So it's got the blue and the orange lines. So on my DIY sales funnel, one would be homepage, one would be free, and it shows you day by day which one converts higher. You can hover over every single day, and you can see, on this day particularly, the talking head VSL did 10% conversion, whereas the slideshow did 0. Down below, you can see better data. Essentially, this better data down here shows the two side by side. You see how many session experiments have been run. You can see how many conversions each one brought, and then you get your conversion rate. For me, this is a sales page, right? This is a video sales letter for my membership that I'm split testing, and you can see one of them is converting at about 2.1% and one is converting at just under 2%. Now, you can tell that it's got only a 43% likelihood of outperforming with this talking head VSL, and it's actually 10% lower conversion rate than my slideshow. This is the one I've been running for over probably about 2 years. This is something my wife and I created when I was in New Zealand. So that was about 4 months ago we created this, and we had an idea. It was we have a hypothesis of that maybe a more personal video of my wife sitting there and actually seeing her kind of talking, right? It's a talking head versus a slideshow. Maybe that would be able to engage users better and increase conversions. So far, the data says not really, but here's the key. We do have enough experiment sessions running through, but we don't have enough conversions to have what we would call a statistically significant data set at this point. So what you want to see here is you want to see this probability. You really want to see this probability to be over 95%, over 98% probability is what you want to see. And that's how you know you have statistically significant data. Generally, you'll see this number be really high when this difference is quite high and the number of conversions are in the several hundreds, potentially the thousands. That's kind of why I said to start with your opt-in page. You're going to get a lot more opt-ins than you are customers. So you're going to be able to run the data more quickly and kind of zero in on a headline on your opt-in page that really triggers your audience to take action. And once you know that that opt-in phrase that said this way versus that way is better and it gets your kind of audience to take action, you can then play with getting the idea or the essence of that headline into your advertisement on Facebook, and you could split test it at the ad level to see if that gets more clicks. You can then figure out how to get the essence of that opt-in into your OTO page and see about changing your headline on your OTO and see if that gets you a bump in your conversions on your sales side of things. And that's really how split testing can help you at all levels of your funnel, but you really want to start by split testing your opt-in page, and you want to see something to the tune of about 30% opt-in. If you're at the 20% opt-in rate, keep working with it till you get to 30 or 40% conversions on your opt-in page. That's when you know you've got something that's really quite compelling to your audience. And that's it. This is the whole game of setting up a split test. It really didn't take that long for us to set up here. I'm using this system. I'm very happy with having this data running through analytics. I think it's a far superior system. And if you're curious about ClickFunnels is kind of like, oh, but their split testing looks so easy. They don't split test your sales pages. The only thing they make look easy is the opt-in pages, which you can do in about 3 minutes. And I don't think 3 minutes to set up an opt-in is worth $3,200+ per year when we can kind of run off of Google's tools that they offer us. So I hope this was helpful. Get your split tests up and running. Remember, test one thing at a time. Start with your headline, right? On your opt-in page is the very first place I would go. Get it all set up, run some traffic, and see. Let the data drive your decisions. Let the data guide you in your business, because if you follow the data and you test your ideas, you will eventually be able to iterate yourself towards a very, very successful funnel. This is exactly what my wife and I have been doing since about 2013, since we really started split testing, and all of our results are continuing to increase, and the effort we're putting in is really not increasing at all. We're simply getting more conversions on the same amount of energy, which is really exploding our business right now, and it's through using this kind of a tool. If you have any questions for me at this point, catch me in the comments below. I'm happy to chat, and I'll do what I can with the time I have available to get back with you on your questions. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up here in YouTube. I hope you enjoyed learning how to run a split test on Thrive Themes using Google's tools that are very easy to use, and they're 100% free, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next video. All right, be well.